Welcome to Africulture with yours truly, Larva McAfee, aka Nicole, with my special guest, Dogby Ngoyifia of Aflawu, Gakli, Grand Lomé, where we discuss Africulture. It is all about Africulture. Let's get it started. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Africulture on Siana TV and Chatting with Nicole. I thank you guys. It's another Sunday afternoon, and I know a lot of people are busy this afternoon, but we don't take a break, right? So we are here to carry on with what we are charged to carry on. So we are here to chat with you. So I thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Welcome. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here with us. Today, last week, we wanted to chat about what do you call it? Dowry. But because of immigration, we decided to talk about immigration. And I want to thank my son David and Abla for joining me so that we can discuss those important discussion last week. So we want to make sure that we bring you expert. Next step is to bring you somebody who is actually an attorney so that they can give you, we can discuss and ask questions. But until we have that, I wanted us to come back and carry on with the schedule. The schedule that we have, it was to talk about dowry. And I did let you guys know that I have, heard some concerning a lot of concerning involving dowry. So I wanted to come here and just address that because Tugby and I addressed it before. But I wanted to come here solo with the ladies and address it, and then we can have a discussion. We can have good discussion today. So that's what the show is going to be. And so I want you to hang in there with us. I thank you for joining us. I thank the Lord for bringing us to another Sunday, guys. I mean, can you believe it? It's like 2nd of February already. It was just 1st of January, 2nd of February already. I don't know if you feel it, but I feel it. The year is flying by already. So I thank the Lord for bringing us here, and now we submitting everything to His hands. I ask that you share this with everyone you know. Let us know of your comments. Let us know where you are joining from, so that we can give a shout out to you. But I want you to let everybody know so that they can join us. It's every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time or 9 p.m. GMT. So thank you hanging there with us. Miato, kufonye dada vinyo miawezon va oglona bena ahometo devio edomi amisiame leke mi fondo nene mi dona gbewan donc endo withdraw endo mi indio endo nami mi dak bebe mi le mwaji kudo mi fie mi le Africulture Siana TV kudo chatting wonoko egbia chaque dimanche à 16h 16h Atlanta time ou bien 16h à 21h GMT. Donc, am dak pena mi ve mi va kame kudomi. Egbia mi la pomposo mi abe ameta bio parce que semaine passée a mi la ke discuter voir immigration mais situation va do mi donc a mi va well. Donc egbia mi la do anglais ke mi bala do anglais parce que amede li mi ado mi am do na avec beo. Donc a mi la do anglais vide de voir mjibe mi ano kame kudo mi a partager quoi me comme les kamewa mi partager kudo voir mi dak pe na Yehowa be kplo mi va e moaji e na mi egbea be nkekea mi lagbe mi lagbe donc mi a dak pe na mao le 2 février déjà. Et le 2 février déjà pour les payer. Donc, à mi dak pe ne mi son dak pe ne so dak pe na mi be mi le kamelo. Donc, ne amerim le kamelo mi jisa mi la mi na ne ba va kame ne ba senya ko mi le blanc ne mi a partager na mi samelo donc en dak pe na mi j'ai déjà discuté nya kem le déjà discuté vivia mi a plan anglais mi le blanc mi la plan anglais mi sia donc a inde beni mi la plan anglais parce que avec les kame kudo mi am c'est anglais wa c'est vegbe wa mi nyobe mi no do vegbe mi la do anglais. Okay, we'll be speaking English today. So what I want to do, blena movo abla likami. Maklo abla vaila do binami. Abla maklo mi vakotava. Abla, both of you, you are not new to the channel. You are not new to the show. So first we have Abla. Abla, you guys know Abla. Say hello.
Everyone.
Hello, Abla, our famous Abla, and then we have Mercy. Mercy Oladosu. Does it sound like Oladosu, or how is that it?
It's a ladder shoe.
Ola, how is that?
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like a lot of shoes, but a lot of shoes. Yeah.
Is it because for in your alphabet SU makes a sh sound, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allow shoe.
A
Allow
lot of
shoe.
shoe.
A lot of shoes. Is that people said in
We
school
just
to
I'm
you?
gonna say a lot of shoes, a lot of shoes, a lot of shoes. But then we have shoes at the end. That doesn't sound right. So we got a lot of shoe. Um, so and if you guys wondering, you already know, Mercy is from Nigeria. That's every time you see the Ola, yeah, it is Nigeria. So welcome back, Mercy. Say hello to
Hello.
everybody. So
Hi.
we are happy to have both of you. I'm happy to have both of you on the call. On the, how I always say on the call, right? But today, as I was saying, you guys just gonna let me. I'm gonna address this, and then I'm gonna bring you guys in so that we can have the discussion here. So we discuss dowry with Tugby, and as we went through these discussion, we were severe, and we were, rightfully so. So we talked about, the people who don't believe in dowry. There are people who are married today, or not married. They're living together, shacking together. I'm going to see you that. A lot of people, shacking up together, having babies year after year, but they have not asked the woman's hand. They're doing it without the diary, the proper diary. So I wanted to, and we were severe with them, but through my travel and learning and talking to people, I see the reason why. I can see the reason why for some people, and I also see the reason why for other people. So I am here today. Before I do that, I'm just gonna address these, and I'm gonna come back and bring Abla and Mercy and hear their thoughts. So I have to say that I love our African culture. That's why I'm here. I love our African tradition and culture. And just because I love our African tradition and culture does not mean that I love everything about our tradition and culture. There are things that are not, uh, you know, God's way. There are things that are not in the Word of God. There are things that are against God. There are things that we, a human being, we have brought in that does not glorify. Anyway, things that are not in the Bible and are not in the God ways, I stay away from. But there are things that in our tradition that we have to, things like, training our children, raising our children the way they should go, how they respect elders, training our children the respect and honor for our tradition and all of that. I love that. Another thing I love our tradition and culture is our diary. That's one thing I'm looking for. I'm going to ask Habla and Mercy later and see how they feel about that. But diary is one of the things I have always loved. That is one thing that I loved. So I want to let everybody know that even in the reason why I'm saying that there are things that are not godly in our traditions. So even though you love your tradition, even though we are Africans, we don't have to do everything. Not everything we have to do in our tradition. So if you're a Christian, there are certain things you have to stay away from. If you're Christian, there are certain things that is not godly. You can go and adore, idols, for example, and sacrificing human beings, for example. That is not godly. You can't do those things. So if you're a Christian, there are certain things that you have to know to intentionally avoid, right? Because in Mark, I'm going to go to the Bible now. In Mark 7:13, it says that, you nullify that they're nullifying the word of God for their tradition. We don't do that. We can't, forget, we can use our tradition over God's words. All right. So that is one thing that we have to keep in mind. And just because you are Christian, people ask me, how is it that I'm believing God? I say I'm a child of God, then I always say that I love tradition. Just because I love tradition does not mean that just because I'm a Christian does not mean that I can't love tradition. I just have to know the things to do and the things not to do, the things to avoid and things not to avoid. You know what I mean? So you can definitely be, be a Christian and still love your traditions. You just have to be selective. All right. So today I'm going to address three issues. First, I'm going to address those who don't believe in the diary for one specific reason. And I'm going to address our parents, us as parents, the way we are treating diary. And last but not least, I'm going to address the struggles that I heard from our young people, the struggle that is going on right now. They believe in diary, they want to do it, but they're struggling. So the first part is I'm going to say the part that those who don't believe. And the reason I'm addressing this because they specifically say that they don't believe it because they are Christian. They don't believe it because it is against their beliefs, their Christianity. So I want to say, if you're right now, you have not gone through the diary process for your lady in the house or the lady you're chasing right now, you have an eye on right now, you don't believe it. I want to tell you that saying that it is against your tradition. I'm going to prove it to you that it is in the Bible. It is not against your tradition to go through the diary process, the normal diary process. Because if we look at Genesis, the first asking of a hand, if you go to Genesis, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just trying to prove those who are saying that diary, it is against their belief, their Christian beliefs. I just want to prove it to you that it is not against Christian beliefs. It happened, the first diary. Well, first people the tradition nerds, they may tell me, no, it was happening traditionally before the Bible. But I'm going to go and tell you that in the Bible, in Genesis 24, you can read the whole thing. Abraham sent his servants to go look for a wife for Isaac. And when he went to do that, he gave gifts to, Rebecca before he took the wife. He gave them gifts. He gave the parents gifts. So we know that it is in the Bible. He didn't just go and bring her without gifts. So I'm letting you know that if you're saying that it is not godly, that's why you don't do it. I want to prove to you that it is. It started the first diary started with Abraham. And when he did that, it was just gifts. He brought gifts with him and he gave to the parents. And the parents has to accept it. They accepted it. They didn't make a demand. They didn't say, no, what you brought is not enough. You need to go back and make this list and come back. They accepted it, that gift. So I'm going to tell you that it is in the Bible. And another place that I want to prove to you is in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 7:38. It says that a man has a right to give his child, because some of them are saying that, it's like buying the girl. You know what I mean? But it's saying, and some of us don't believe that, we saying the father say, no, I don't want I don't want my daughter to marry you. They're like, okay, screw you. And they went and do it anyway. So in the Bible say that the father has a right to give his daughter for marriage, or he has a right to say no. So I'm going to translate, because not all of us have fathers. Like, I don't have my father. So I'm going to say that parents now, because if your father's not there, your mother, your uncles represent your parents, right? So the family of the woman has the right to say no or yes. So I always say that, we just have to pray about it. We have to pray, because if you pray and that woman is yours, no matter what they said, they're going to give in at one point. You know what I mean? So just pray about it. So I am proving it to all of us that I spoken to you guys. You say that the reason is because it is against your belief. Is it against your Christian beliefs that it makes you feel like you want to buy the girl? I know somebody who always tells me, it's like, I don't want to buy my wife. You're not buying your wife. It's in the Bible. So that's the first part that I want to address. The second part I say is going to be parents, us parents. So, unfortunately, I have to be harsh with us, because we parents today, I went from Abidjan, I heard and I listened. And every time I see people, I just ask questions. I went to wedding in Benin, Abidjan, Benin, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Togo, and Nigeria, and the story about Kenya. It's crazy. So even Christian, not Christian, but Muslim weddings, has become commercialized. So as parents, we are saying, oh, my daughter is going to get me out of my poverty. And it's not her from her education, her hard work, but her husband through a diary. So as parents, we are saying that our children are going to get us out of our poverty through the diary. So because our children went to school, they are educated, they are beautiful, they are tall, we are charging these young men so much money. We have turned a diary into commercialized. It's like we would. So I have to be harsh, hard with us because I have a son. I have a son. So I don't know how we're gonna get through all of that. So I am letting us know that we are using our children, our young ladies, we are sitting on them, and we are saying that you have, because of your education, you have to pay so much money. People are charging, I heard people from, Kenya, they were saying that they are charging them up to $3,000 just to premarital, and just the pre, and then the payment before the wedding, before the all the what do you call it, receptions and everything else. But these people in this country, they are making like $400 a month. How are you going to afford $3,000 just the payment for your diary for your wife? So that's why I was saying last time, they have to, that's a 1 year salary. Some places 1 year salary. So that means you're not going to eat. Your salary is just to marry somebody. So I am addressing as saying that we are making it so difficult for young people to marry our daughters. So what is happening is they are sleeping with each other, committing fornication. And then when the lady is pregnant, now everybody's embarrassed. Then you're jumping and giving them, yes, go ahead and do it. It shouldn't be that way. And some of them, because if they don't want to do that, then they're really waiting until, if they can't just do it, they just give up. And then your daughter is there, unmarried. So I'm just saying that we are turning this thing into money-making business, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So I want to address as parents, the Bible said that we're supposed to give our life to we are shepherds, supposed to give life to our life to the sheep, the sheeps. I say sheep. So we need to help our, children. We need to help them. We need to help them if you're able to. The wedding that I went to in Burkina Faso, they actually bought a house for their son and his wife, the new wife, because they don't want him to struggle. So we have to learn that it is not about money. It is about the honor. It's the honoring, the diary process and honoring our family. So I'm just saying that we parents, we are making it too difficult. We shouldn't be making, diary money-making business, because it's not. Diary should not enrich us. Should not. So that's why I'm very, very severe with us, that we need to revamp, especially those people who have just one girl. You say one girl, so you're going to charge so much money because you only have one girl to make up for the 2 and 3 that you don't have. So I hear parents say this. It doesn't make sense. So I'm just saying, my brother, my sister, if you have a young ladies right now, please let us revisit the way we see these diary situation. And we're going to come back and dive a little bit about that. But last but not least is the young man today struggling just to make it because of the $3,000 that is being charged. And I'm not just addressing people in America here or in Europe. I'm addressing everybody in Africa. I am saying, before I thought Nigerian were like the worst of all, commercializing and charging too much. And then I went to, what do you call it? I went to Senegal. I was like, wow. And then Abidjan, I'm like, what? And then, as I go and hear these stories, I'm like, what? And then when I hear the one from Kenya, I'm like, are you serious? So it's just so much. It's so much. Young men are struggling. So we were hard on the young man, saying, they're not doing this, and they're not, they just, being lazy or all of that. But I realized that they are really struggling. There are young men today who are sending their parents to negotiate the bride price. Can you believe that? Negotiation is going on, and some man is like 3 years now. He's been negotiating for the parent to reduce the bride price. They have not done it. So I feel for young people. So last time when we were saying, no, they're not doing it, I just want to address those who really believe in dowry and they want to do right by their wives and their parents. And the parents, the ladies' parents are just holding on, saying, nope. You have to go and I don't know, what do you want them to do to bring this money that you are charging so hard? I mean, they have to go and they have to go and borrow money to marry your daughter, and then be in debt and be struggling, stressed about money. Oh, I don't understand that. So we have men waiting, negotiating, and then at one point they just decide to just go shacking up with each other. And then when they, like I said earlier, when the girl got pregnant, then they're gonna go and say, yes, go ahead and do it, which is not right. So a lot of men who are struggling today, they are saying that it is too much. They can't afford it. So some people, they are marrying people outside of, outside of, what they want. Like they marry African Americans. They marry white people. Because here in America, it's the bride, the bride's family who pays the the dowry. So imagine if it were me, I'm going that way. So a lot of people, we had this question last time, and they were saying that why do people don't marry? I mean, this was in Siena. There was a question: why do African men are marrying outside their race? I'm like, if you telling me I have to save money 1 year of my salary just to pay for this bride price, and I have this girl here looking at me, calling me every day, and his parents are going to pay for it, I'm gonna go with her. So I am just saying, these are things that I have seen and I have heard, and it's so much that we can discuss here on one seating. But I just want to address these three ones specifically. So now I brought you back, Abla, and you guys been listening to me. Abla and Mercy, you guys been listening to me. I want to hear your thoughts. But before I do that, let's remind people. Abla, I need to have a different. I think there are other promotional videos for Siena 2025. I only have this one, and I need to get the other one so that I can play here. But let's take a 1 minute break, and I'll be back and hear from Abla and Mercy and see what they think about this. I'll be right back.
You are welcome to Siena 2025. Come and have a unique experience in Dallas, Texas.
Ago Nanya Pete Milemiakpe Bemifa 32nd Annual Siena Convention Le Dallas Fort Worth. Dallas. Big D. Mifa Yapakpong Tepe. Aha. Siena 2025. Mano Bobo Edolo. Mifa Midwaza. We were me at the Cornwall Friday evening. Sunday me our picnic. Me our church service. And all les zanzazata miniva.
Tata nyo play before nyo mi do bonso anamilo. Mi do bonso anami akpata mi de kukuna mi be mi kro mi ape famille ovalo. Mi kro mi ape famille o mi afa po Dallas da. Mi ado azan. Azalo.
Azase.
Azale kongbe.
Azale wow.
So, Mercy, I think you said you were thinking about Siena, right? So that is a reminder. We'll be happy to have you. I'm sure Abla agrees with me. So what do you guys so far? What are your thoughts? So I'll start with Abla first. Just for hearing this, and I know this is not new. What do you think about this thing that is going on with our dowry?
I have so many thoughts. I feel like my thoughts are all over the place. While I do agree. I've heard stories. I know situations where the family is asking of just way too much of the young man, especially if he's young, like very young, especially like early 20s. Like
Right.
let's be realistic here.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, because I grew up, although I was born and raised in America, I grew up pretty knowledgeable about our culture when it comes to getting married and the dowry and the significance of it. And so while I haven't really heard the stories of like, since the dowry's too much, let's just go and still go against God's will. And then, there's a baby now.
Yep.
That's the part where I'm like, whose idea is that? Because from what I know about the dowry, and then maybe from a woman's perspective, what I know carrying a child for 40 weeks entails, there's no way you will get away with not paying that dowry. That's the only thing that scares me about that, because you go to the edge of death to carry a child for someone. So it's like, let's not put our children in situations where they really can't be taken care of, because maybe what you are asking of, like, maybe he really will never, because from what I understand, dowry is supposed to also kind of show that you are going to be able to take care of the family that you're trying to create.
Right.
Right? So if they can't, let's say maybe what they are asking for is a lot, but for the family, that's what they come from. Then I can understand the gentleman bowing out gracefully. But if you guys are both two lint and pocket families, then let's cut our coat according to the size, which seems to be the same size. So let's not look at look at your daughter as a cash cow. So I mean, so there are different instances, and I feel like, the families who know that you're looking at this as a financial gain, and it's like you're forcing this man to go find that money for you. So I don't know where that notion came from. That part, I don't really know many that came from that kind of like environment where it's like it's by force. Like I know some that they're asking for a little much, but it's like you're asking for more of what this boy can give at this time. But I do think the parents need to, I think it might depend on where this is happening too, like if it's in America or back home as well. But I do know a lot of parents, they need to relax, especially in this day and age. Inflation is real. It's expensive everywhere across the world. So this 2025, people are pressuring people to pay dowry they can't afford, then they really need to think of how that's going to affect their daughter. Like they're not thinking far with this. They're thinking of themselves. And not the daughter. There's so many factors I feel like need to be evaluated. Then I go back to the parents, the father, because usually these things are coming from the father, right? The father, what they're demanding of the young man, did they even provide that for the child in the first place?
Right.
Because I've heard so many stories too of like, there's so many stories of young women who are choosing not to marry yet, or maybe not at all, because what they saw their parents go through and how their father treated them. Like there's a story of a young lady, her father left them hungry. Like he went on a business trip, didn't leave money for food, and just went and did his own thing, didn't care.
Right.
Someone like that, I don't think he should be demanding a lot of money from somebody.
Then, they are like that. But then when it comes to their daughter, you know how, you have men, doing wrong things, going and messing up with other people's daughters, but they don't want anybody to touch their daughters. You know what I mean? So,
but you know what? Biblically, I believe, like as a father, what you do out there, you're setting the pace for what your children are going to receive. So it's just an example like that. But we have to, parents are saying, oh, this is my daughter. There's no way. We have people in America, because they live in America, they are asking so much because they live in America, but they don't realize that it is not easy living in America. It's not easy to have this $3,000 just to pay. And then you have a list. There are other lists that you have to provide. So it is not easy. So this message, this show today is just to remind us parents that it is not reasonable. It is not fair. That's somebody's son. Like, take it easy.
Take it easy.
The same way you want to take it easy on somebody's daughter, take it easy on somebody's son.
And think about your daughters. Think about your grandchildren. Think about, if they pray and they said, God blessed them with, this man and this woman. Who are we to say that you have to pay us this? So you know what I mean? So let's think about it and have the best interest of our daughter, not just our daughters, but the young man, because when that young man marry your daughters, they become your family.
Yeah.
You
Now
all
you have
want
all
that
their money. They can't cook food in their house because
in the house because of
their
that.
mom and dad are chopping their finances.
Try to pay for the bill. So, Mercy, what do you think? And I know that in Nigeria, you guys, I don't know, but that was one that was very scary to me. I'm like, oh my God, they did this, they did that. You guys were like, Nigeria is over. It's over. It's special. So, what do you have to say about it?
It's true. I think it all depends really on the tribe too. I think a lot of it is cultural. The dowry or the bride price is very symbolic of not only just that the man can take care of the daughter, but also that he acknowledges and appreciates how the parents have raised the daughter that he is now marrying. So a lot of it is actually, at least from my tribe, from the understanding of what my parents have told me, ours is actually not crazy. It's not like a crazy amount. It's like, oh, they give you a list, like bring a Bible, bring a rice, oil, maybe a small amount. And then a lot of the time they'll return those things back because they don't want to make it seem like he's paying to like buying the daughter marry. But it is something I know in other tribes from other people that I've heard is a struggle. And they demand things crazy like $10,000, $5,000, something so wild. And people are like, well, especially women will be like, I'm not marrying anybody until he's able to put down that much.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, is anybody able to really put down that much? Like
$10,000. It's like a down payment for your home, down payment for a car. So yeah,
exactly. And so it's very unreasonable in some aspects. I think it's important to show and respect and give what you can, but I also think it shouldn't be a cutoff where it's
if you can't do it, then
you can't do it, then no, goodbye.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I know that it is, and we want to address all tribes, not just one tribe here. So we are all the same. We are all Africans. So the dowry situation, it doesn't say that if you're this tribe, you should do it this way. That tribe, you should do it this way. We are all the same people. So we shouldn't be like, oh, just because my tribe, you have to pay me $10,000. And it is just not fair. It is just not right. And these young men are struggling. And at one point, they give up. At one point, the girl likes them so much that they ended up staying with them. And then you stay with them and living as husband and wife at one point. Yes, they're going to be a baby. And then you're like, oh, now, you can go ahead and do it. I give you my blessings. So it's just something that I just thought that we need to really focus on, because dowry is very, very, it's a sacred thing for our culture. Like I said, this is one thing that one of the tradition that I really love. I really appreciate, because it wasn't created to be money, to be demanding, to be asking for a list. So there was a list that I read, ladies. There was a list of food and stuff, and then they have a bike on there. There's a motorcycle on there. And TV, specific size for TV. What does that have to do with anything, right? So, and then there was one that says the man has to take ownership of the girl's younger sister education, like tuition. Where is that coming from? So how are you going to be asking, like, just because this man is coming to marry your daughter, then he's going to take away everything, just handle everything for you? How is that fair? How is that fair?
That's severe entitlement. That only is there like family beef. That only makes sense if there's like some long-standing family feud from the guy's family, and then you're saying, yeah, he has to take care of the younger sister's.
But wait till he's married her, and then that he can actually volunteer to take care of it. Don't demand it that this is conditioned to marry my daughter. And then I heard that too, that they have a list from the father side. Like my father will have his side of the list, and my mother will have her side of the list. So I'm like, that is just weird. That is just wicked. That is just not fair. So we have to really just revisit our dowry. It is something that we are not supposed to be commercializing it. We are supposed to make it easier for our young people. Like I said, the wedding that I went to in Burkina Faso, that's what they did. They did to help the two of them. Everything they did was so that they don't have any struggle after this, because they were able. And I know not everybody's able. You know what I mean? Not everybody in a position where, I can take care of the bills for you. I can do everything. Not everybody, but if we can just eliminate this excessive list that we have, if we can eliminate that, then we are helping them. We are helping the young couples and their children. You're helping them have a good night's sleep. Because imagine you have to go and borrow money, and then you pay for this dowry. You don't have the money. You borrowed it. You don't have it. You pay for the dowry. Even the wedding night, you're already fighting. You're already frustrated about this.
Day one.
Yes, day one. It starts on day one. You're already struggling. You're already crying already. So you're not going to have a happy marriage because it started that way. And I believe that's why young men are saying, I don't want to buy my wife, because we are demanding, we are asking that it has to be money. It has to be all these lists. So they're feeling like if I do this, it's like I'm buying my wife. That's why they don't want to do it, because they're feeling like it is not godly. It's not how it's supposed to be. So, and they just say, I just won't do it. So
I feel like that's their way of saying they can't afford it.
Exactly.
I don't feel like they think it's buying. They know.
You can't
it's because, like you said, some people go outside of the culture, and some people do it intentionally to avoid having, because they're cheap. There's some, let's call it.
There are cheap ones.
There's some people who are cheap, and they'll use that. I don't want to feel like I'm buying you. They don't care. They know that they because I'm sorry. They don't care. Like that's I don't buy that. They don't want to feel it's to protect their ego. It's easier to say that I don't want to feel like I'm buying you versus the saying like I simply cannot. Most men will not come out and say I can't afford it. They'll say I don't want to feel like I'm buying you.
Most men they will use the excuse, but from what I hear and what they are telling me, I'm like, there are people who will not do it. There are people who will not even bother. There are people who are stingy. There are people who are cheap. Yeah. There are people who just won't spend their money. There are people, especially if they know that the parents have money. No,
they're in it. Yeah, they're in it for the money. So yeah, men use women for money too. Men trap women
marry women for money. Men do marry women.
Yeah, no, it's true. Everyone does everything. It's not one group of one thing that does it. It's not one group
against each other. But I am talking about this sacred dowry process situation. This is a tradition. This is a ceremony that we should not turn commercial. We cannot make it commercialized. We should not make it so hard for other people not to be able to afford it. We should not, turn this into what we want, turn it into. And nowadays you go to TikTok and stuff, is who did it better, who did it best. Everybody, it's a competition now.
Yeah.
How many things did they bring? How many things? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway.
The social media too has made things. There's so many. There's so many different, because I do wedding planning. Well, I would say I retired from wedding planning, so I've seen a lot of different scenarios. I've seen too many weddings where it's like some people are only really getting married just to have the party.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some people are only getting married just to prove someone wrong.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Some people are only getting married because their parents are forcing them to get married, because that's just the next thing they're supposed to be doing.
They're supposed to be doing is
and so I've just seen so many different. Fortunately, I've not had any clients where like the bride price was ridiculous and there was issues with that. The only time I had that something close it was multicultural, where it was a Nigerian groom and American bride, and there was just a bit of confusion because they sometimes we're not patient. As Africans, I don't feel like we're very good at explaining things. Sometimes we just expect you to know, like things should be common knowledge. So there were some things they weren't explaining to their family, and they felt like they were being taken for a ride, or they felt like they were being shortchanged because maybe one of the relatives went to go Google something, and Google is not 100% factual when it comes to our culture too. So it caused some some confusion there. They're thinking they're getting ripped off, or they're thinking they're supposed to be getting more of something.
But this is a wedding, you know what I mean? It's a wedding. It shouldn't. They shouldn't be ripping. Nobody should be ripping the other out, because you become a family.
But you'll be surprised when it comes to weddings. What I've seen, everyone forgets it's about the bride and the groom, and it's all about you.
Yeah, it's about the.
You'll be surprised. It'll be about the guests, even down to the guests, where they're like, "What do you mean I can't bring my kid? Who's going to watch my child?" The bride and groom do not care about your babysitter situation right now. You gave birth to that kid. You figure it out. But that's how selfish people get. People forget that what the whole situation's about.
It's not.
Parents are worrying about like they don't like the color you're wearing. I want it to be this way. Like it. So it gets very frustrating. It's not even just the dowry. It gets frustrating down to even how everything goes with the parents getting in control. So it's not even the dowry they're just controlling. They're controlling the whole weekend.
The whole thing. Because they want it to be better than the next door neighbor.
Not even that. They want it to be their way.
They want it to be their own way.
They just want it to be their way.
That's why I'm saying, even starting from the dowry, they want it to be all about them. It is all about them. It's for them to pay you this ridiculous amount to prove to you that you did a great job with your daughter. And it's not that
and to show up for their friends.
And to show up and say that,
especially if you didn't become a doctor, lawyer, all the at least give me a good wedding, make me proud, and do lots of kids. At least do that. That's their last chance.
Yeah, last chance is because
their last chance to brag.
So your husband, you have to choose this one who will bring us there. So let's just think about and say that when we have our daughters, we need to raise them well. We need to raise them to choose the right, to know the right man, to pray for the right man, not look for the pocket, not look for the tribe, not look for where they come from, not look for how they look, what they drive, the house that they are living in. It is not about that. It's just pray for God to bring you your husband. Pray for God to guide you to this husband, this man he created you for. And if you met this, you met him, and for sure it is him, and your father said that, your mother said he has to pay $10,000. Just that is, he said he has to pay $10,000. Then pray, continue to pray, or go and talk to your parents. And that's one thing we don't do as girls. Go and talk to your parents. Say, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, we should stand up for our men. I think girls need
to speak up as well too. Exactly. Yeah, this is the first. This is actually the first opportunity you need to. Because another thing too, when you go into marriage, you have to learn to be able to speak up to your parents for your spouse. Your spouse should not be the bad guy in your parents' eyes. So that's like your first opportunity to start putting the things in place. Like, hey, I'm going into my husband's house. You're not about to make, because some parents are an enemy of progress too when they do things like that. Some of them may be intentionally doing it because they don't want the girl to marry. Who knows? Like there's some.
And if that's the case, I'm talking to the parent now. If that's the case, be honest about it. Be honest about it. Just talk to them. Whatever the difference is, whatever the situation, get it handled and pray about it. I'm just saying praying. Your parents needs to pray. The guy's side needs to pray. The girl's side needs to pray. Everyone needs to pray. Everyone needs to pray. But I'm encouraging our ladies, speak for your husband. If you truly know that this man, I love him. This is the man that God chose for me. And he doesn't have the 10,000. He does not have it. Speak for your parents. Stand up for him. And I know some people, even some women, they have to borrow money themselves to help the man to pay for it.
Ooh, don't do that.
I've heard.
I heard that's marrying yourself.
If don't you have it, if the girl has it, then that's fine. But if she doesn't have it, she cannot go borrow money. And plus, if you do that, that's even wrong. That is not even.
If you pay for your own bride price, you have married yourself.
Exactly.
You have married yourself. That man, you have like I don't know what to say. You've like low key castrated that guy. You're not.
And some girls, so ladies, some girls their parents have money, and they have money, they can do whatever. So they just like they pouring that money. The parents are thinking that it is the guy, but it's really not the guy. It's the girl. It's their own money that they're using and doing all of that. Yeah. So because you made it so impossible for them, to do that. So there are so many things that we are doing that we shouldn't do, but it all starts from the way how we set the bar in the beginning. It starts from when this man comes and send his parent to find out how many things that you need for us to bring. It starts from that list. It started from that thing that you tell them to bring. If they don't have it, if it's too much, then they started going, bringing all these things in. That's not supposed to be in. So I'm just saying, let's just be reasonable. Let's think about our daughter. Let's think about his husband. Let's think about the children. Let's just think about them and not take it, because we have our lives. Because at this point, you already have the child. Now he's at age, her age to have children. You already done your life.
Now you collected $20,000 from the husband. Now they can't afford to buy diapers for the grandchildren. Your
life is over. Your life, you have your own wedding if you didn't have it. Because some people are saying, well, I didn't have it. They didn't.
That's not my problem.
It is not.
That's not your problem. We weren't around. If you didn't have one, okay, well, we weren't born then to throw one for you. So that's not.
That is already.
That's not your child's problem. That's not your child's. That's something that happened before their existence, I think. So, but
because that's what we do, as we like, oh, I didn't do this, so I want my child to do it. I didn't do this, so I want this. You didn't do it. That was your time. Your time has passed. Yeah. I'm not saying this to be, harsh and to be, but it's honest. Like right now, I cannot tell my son, just because I didn't do this, I want you have to do it for me. No, my time has passed. I cannot impose that on him to do it for me. I cannot say my daughter, because my daughter, I didn't have they didn't have this list on the list because there was no TV on my list. So I want you to put TV on your list so that it can do it. That doesn't make sense. That's just an example. That doesn't make sense. So we have our lives. Let's accept that we have our lives. Yeah. We did ours. Whatever didn't happen, it's okay. It's already passed. This is our children's life now. Yeah. We need to focus and care for them and have their best interests at heart. Let's be the shepherds and let's die for our sheep. Let's take the whatever it is, let's take it. If you can afford it, help them. If you can afford, help them and pay for the wedding. If you want it, if they want it, pay for the wedding. Tell them, you know what? I know you don't have it. It was supposed to be 3,000, but it's okay. Whatever you have, bring it. Just for the, the process, just to honor, bring whatever you have. Just like Abraham did for, Rebecca. He just gave gifts to give the parent. The parent accepted it. And that was it. Yeah. They didn't argue. They didn't say, no, we have to, negotiate. They didn't do that. So let's learn from that and just do better. For
there's a pastor at, the pastor that oversees Royal House. Mm-hmm. I remember he used to, and I used to attend one of their branches. He used to share his story about when he married his wife. Mm-hmm. And he would say that when he married his wife, he actually borrowed everything from the list. So like the sewing machine, the suitcase, even the check, it wasn't a real check. Like, so after the ceremony, like his sisters came to collect, okay, this is my cloth, my sewing machine, my suitcase and everything. But the lady's family allowed her, to marry or whatever. Like they've been married like 40 years now at this point. But then he said maybe some years after some marriage, he said, okay, we're going to your father's house. So her mother also called her, like, what did you do? Like, why is he coming here? What's he coming to do? Like, what have you done wrong in your husband's house? But what he actually did was everything that he could, like, he basically repaid the bride price. So although they didn't ask for it, he brought everything back. So the check that wasn't real, he actually filled it out. All the cloth that you're supposed to get. So the actual bride price that he brought everything back to present to the parents when he could afford it. And this is the Apostle General over Royal House. And if you know anything about Royal House,
the lady knew. Did she know the girl, the wife? Did she know?
The way the story was told to us, because it was in church, it wasn't like it was told to me personally.
Okay. So we don't know if she knew or not. She was on
but from the way it was told, it sounds like she was fully aware, because he said that the things belonged to the sisters and whatnot. This only seems like she didn't know when the time he wanted to pay it back. That's what she didn't know about. Like everyone was like, yo, he's returning the girl back to her parents. Like you've made this man upset, or you've done something wrong in your house or something. So, but I think the actual wedding process, I mean, because they both say they're like both like, starving students kind of situation.
Right.
Like,
so they could
very humble beginnings. So whatever the case was, I mean, I think once it's returned, it's obvious that the things get returned. I think even if she didn't know beforehand, she would have to know at some point that because I know one thing I know about the cloth, one of the cloth that they're supposed to bring you, I don't know if it's the same for Nigerians, but I know what I learned for Ghanaians. And I think it's same for Ghanaians and Togolese, because I know a Togolese auntie confirmed.
Yeah.
The cloth, one of the cloth is supposed to be for your baby, to carry the baby on the back. because I have a Togolese auntie. She still has the cloth that she got from her engagement that she carries her grandkids with. So it's like, yeah, so I know you have to know about it. I know she's at least looking for the cloth to carry the baby.
The cloth, yeah, so the cloth is like borrowed. It was borrowed. So,
but I mean, at least I'm sure maybe some things weren't, not everything, but the way he tells us everything was borrowed from his sisters, and then they had to send it back, and then he bought it. I'm sure she kept one thing. Maybe I'm sure the Bible was definitely they kept, but like everybody needs a Bible, so I'm sure she got a Bible.
Yeah, so that I don't know. I mean, Mercy,
but I mean, the whole point of it was just like, you know, they were humble enough to allow this guy to come back and pay it later too. So you really know who's really in it for the thing.
Because they did not know that in the beginning. I'm sure the parent didn't know that these are borrowed stuff in the beginning.
Well, once they come back for, I mean, if they come back for it, because typically what I know, if they come back for it, you give them back the daughter.
So we're just saying.
So the parents had to know. The parents had to know, because then they would have asked for their daughter back. Like, why are you taking back the stuff? Then give us back our daughter. But I think they knew it was a young man, and they were like, "Listen, we want the daughter." We like, because I feel like some parents, they were like, "You know what? You don't have it, so let's just do." Like, I know a girl. They only did the schnapps. That's it. They just like go bring the schnapps, and that's all we're gonna do. There was no suitcase. There was not even a Bible. And I'm like, I would prefer the Bible before the schnapps.
Before, exactly.
But I know a girl. She wasn't even. In fact, she was at school. She was in class, and then it was an American guy that you know, she was marrying, and she was at class, and they just went and found a neighbor to represent the boy, and they did the schnapps exchange while she was in her biology class.
Okay.
Wow. And she came out. So some people are lenient, some people are not. So I mean, but hopefully the Royal House president, that will speak to someone like, hey, if your family is pressuring,
don't
do what you can, and tell the man, like, listen, let's just negotiate this way. Like, my parents are tripping, just bring these things in 5 years. Let's come back and bring them the rest.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's the thing. Let's have a payment plan. But that's wrong too. Payment plan say, okay, when I have it, I'll pay you. That means that you still owe them. I don't even want that. I don't even want to say that when I can afford it, I'll come back, because even that, he's thinking about this thing that he didn't do. He's thinking about, you know, there is something he hasn't done. He's thinking about, I have not done this to honor my wife. So all of this in his head. Don't even say that, okay, I'll come back and pay you. I'll ask parents, let's just say, you know what, bring whatever you can. Just bring whatever you can. I prefer for you to save the money to take care of my daughter.
Yeah.
To give me them. How about we just think that way? How about we just say that? I will help you. Use the money, save the money you save, whatever you have, use it for your wedding, use it for your marriage, use it for your children. And instead of giving it to me, because I have mine already. I have done mine already.
Yeah, and you've lived your life. You've had your marriage, hopefully. So like, why are you already like delaying somebody else's jumpstart? Like, now they can't go buy coal for their coal pots to go and pound any fufu or anything, because
they can't do it.
You can't, because you've chopped all their money. You're there sipping lemonade while they're in the dark.
For your children,
like, it doesn't make sense.
Dark and suffering.
It's
at night.
Yeah, so, it's sad. I think that's agreed. Honestly, you're pushing your kids into it, and it makes sense now as to why now people are just like, let's just go live together and shack up. You're actually pushing your children to dishonor.
This is fornication. Actually, this is fornication. They're committing.
You're putting them in,
and this is against God. They're doing this, and you're putting their souls, you know, at risk. You're putting their souls, both of them, even your grandchildren's soul, at risk, because what they are doing, it is not right, and you are the cause of it.
Exactly. Oh no, they'll have to answer it when they get to heaven. They'll have to answer. Just remember we said, when you get to heaven, did you ask me for my ID, my green card?
Exactly.
You'll ask, and you'll answer when you get there. Did you pressure your children to go and commit? Yes, you did. They'll answer.
They're gonna ask. Anyway,
they'll meet Gabriel.
Mercy, what do you have? I know, Mercy, we were talking, and you haven't. What do you? Mercy's like, okay. All right. What do you have to say, Mercy? What do you have to say? Anything else you say?
I absolutely agree that it's a big issue, because you would expect the parents to want the best for their children, especially going into marriage. That's like, should be the number one concern. Like, I want a successful marriage. And if their kids, I'm sure the wives of whoever, you know, when they're getting married, they're thinking about the dowry too. Like, how are we going to come up with this?
Right.
So he can pay this, so we don't owe my parents. Like, you don't want that type of burden going into a marriage.
No,
it's just,
you don't.
It's supposed to be a happy
time.
So it's supposed to be happy.
You already going with a bill, like it's
you already
especially if you're paying for the wedding too, because some people are not on top of that. they're paying for an extravagant wedding
Oh yeah.
on top of that as well too. Like it is
right.
like I know somebody who's taking a loan out for their wedding.
I know somebody
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I know someone who took a loan out for their wedding because the guy married a girl who came, it was a Nigerian couple, and he was marrying a girl who I guess came from a bit more money than he did. And they started the girl's mom started putting pressure, like you're not putting forth enough money towards that wedding. And he took out, I don't know if it was 50K or 100K. And that, on top of that, still also bought her a new car and a new house, all of that. Anyways, they're divorced now. 5 years later, they're divorced now. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So not saying that that's always the case, but like don't take that loan out. I know a lot of people who said that they wish, especially the ones who got married very early and didn't like not like in their 30s where they already have some of those things, but those who got married like in their early 20s, almost all of them have said they wish they spent the money towards a house instead of the wedding.
Yeah,
because 10 years later, they see most of the people they invited to the wedding they don't talk to. They're not friends with the bridal party. You ate the rice, you went home and flushed it in the toilet after you used the bathroom. Everything is finished with like
that is
celebrate the union rather than like I feel like if you don't have the money. In fact, I know this is not encouraged. I would encourage people to elope before they put themselves in a situation where they're fornicating because they can't afford the bride price. Elope, go get married, go make this thing official. Because you need to at least be married. Like, I mean, you don't want to.
If you're African, you need the parents needs to be known. The parents needs to know. You need to.
But if they're pressuring you like this, and you're gonna,
I'm just saying that the parent, because it needs to be known to the the community needs to know that you are married. So that's why I'm saying that it starts from the parents. So we have to make things easy for our children so that they don't go elope when you don't know. Because you said no, because of your dowry price, they're gonna go elope now, and you're not part of it. You are not part of it. And some of them, the girl is going to be avoiding their parents, like, I don't even know for how long. And the man is going to be avoiding them because they know what they have done. And all of this is because of us parents. So it's all coming back to us parents. So we need to do good. We need to change this. We need to help our children. We have to stand up for our children. We have to want the best for our children. That's all we are saying. All of this, we are discussing these struggles and all of that. It starts from us. If you make it easy for them, then they can just bring whatever they have. And then everybody's happy. Because what is more important is their life. It's for them to be happy, to have peace, to have a peaceful marriage. So it all comes back to parents. So we know we've been here. I haven't seen any comments. Those of you who are watching, we do want to hear from you. We are about to wrap, but we want to hear from you. If you have any questions, you have anything, let us know where you're joining from. But share this, especially if you're if you're a girl right now, an African girl, or if you're somebody thinking that, oh, I'm just gonna go marry a white woman or African American woman because their parents are going to pay for the wedding. All of you, whatever your circumstance, you have a boy, you have a girl, you are parents right now. We just want you to share this with everyone. It is something that we need to think about because young people are struggling right now. Young ladies are struggling right now, and they are going outside of marriage and sleeping with each other. And I know the stories and this that I heard, in Kenya specifically, because when they found out that the girl is pregnant now, it is embarrassment to you. It is embarrassment to the family. So now you accept it, which is not supposed to be. It doesn't work that way. So I want to say, Abla, what is your closing comments? And then we're going to come back to, you have any closing comment until, because this is not going to be one conversation because this is an issue, a big issue that is happening. And we have to just remind everybody that this is happening. Parents, you are making young men struggle right now. They are struggling right now. They love your daughter. They don't want to go marry a white woman. They want to marry your daughter. So allow them to do that after we pray. After you pray, allow them to do this. All right. So Abla, what is your closing comment?
My closing comments is parents, be more of a support to your sons and daughters versus pushing your opinions and your feelings on them. Listen to them, talk to them, and be a support and make sure that you're not driving them into something that just won't work for them in the long run.
So how about the young men? You have anything for the young?
Well, I mean, it was in general. I mean, for the young men, well, the young men, I have a lot to say for the young men, but I will say this: if you do feel like you are being pressured, make sure that the situation that you're in, if you do find it's just you are, willing to pay that, also speak up respectfully. Maybe have a conversation, let them know what this is my coat size, and this is how I can cut it, and make a payment arrangements. Because I know the conversation is a little harder for the guys, but you don't want to feel like you don't want to feel like you're less than a man.
Right.
But I think you'll be respected a lot more if you're honest about what you can manage.
Right.
So do speak up honestly and respectfully. Don't be shy, because that's the best way you can be a man, is to speak up and be honest about whatever the situation is, and let them know what your pocket looks like.
Right.
If your pocket can't, accommodate this, let them know the true intentions for their daughter. And honestly, if you're not being truthful, then just step away. That means the reason why your pocket doesn't fit, because
It's
it just
not
wasn't
even gonna work. Yeah.
So sometimes the resistance is there for a reason too, boys and girls. Sometimes the resistance is not really maybe from the parents. Maybe it's tricky. It is all case by case. Pray for discernment. I think that's the best way I can say it.
Just pray.
Everybody pray for discernment. Take it to prayer. Like every situation, every step of your relationship, parents, every decision, your parents, the dowry, every little element.
Even
put it
when
into
you
prayer.
get the phone number of this man, stop praying.
Put it into prayer. Make sure that you're not talking to a counterfeit or a decoy. Because they exist. They will pretend. They will pretend to be Christian men. They will pretend to be Muslim men. They'll pretend to be everying that you need to be.
Yeah, just to get you. So we gotta
be just prayer, put all of it into prayer.
Yeah.
But yeah, parents, just take it easy on the guys. I bet.
Yeah.
It is hard.
We all agree on that one. Mercy, how about you? What is your closing?
Just to jump off what Abla said, I think just parents specifically, I think it's important to go and read the word. Everything you should be doing should be geared towards helping your children spiritually in their marriage, and also as they're growing together, supporting them. So understanding that the bride price is only such a small part, really, and it's not this big overwhelming part of the whole entire relationship. And then for the men, I would say that as well, develop a relationship with your soon-to-be parents, in-law, so that they understand who you are and understand your situation.
Where you're coming from. Yeah, share situation. Yeah.
Because if you don't want them to be like, oh, we didn't know this, because they don't know who you are. So it might help to have a relationship with them so that they understand your situation and understand the relationship that you have with their daughter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So would you speak up? Like, if this is what you or your parents like, no, it's $10,000 or nothing, what would you do?
I know my parents, they just don't, this is not something they care about at all. They didn't even do the bride price when they got married. So I know, for me though, if it was became a situation, I would speak up. I'd be the one no. That's ridiculous. But I feel I'm blessed where my parents don't care about those things. They're more about, is this person God-fearing?
Right.
How can we support you, throughout this relationship? And so, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. So thank you. So guys, I want to say thank you, ladies, for joining me. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you again. And I know this is not the last. It's not going to be. I know you're going to come back again. Either carry on with this or something else, but I am looking forward to it. But thank you so very much for joining me today. So let me just, let everybody know. Again, this is just because Dowry, it is so something that I love. And I'm not only doing it because I love it, right? I am doing it because I heard so many, dreading stories, so many unhappy stories, so many things going on, in our African, community, African countries, starting from the Muslims, starting from non-believers, and even the Christians. When I hear the stories, when I go to weddings and I just want to hear what is going on and I see things that are happening, I just can't believe it. So I just can't believe it. And it just hurts me to know that there are young men who are struggling to pay dowry, who are sending their parents 3 years. They've been negotiating this bride price, asked to pay almost $3,000 when this young man is only making $400 a month. You know what I mean? So hearing this, it just hurts me. And I want to speak up for them. And I want to, when I understood all of this, I realized that it's coming from us parents. Because if you're making things easier, then they wouldn't be going through all of this. You know what I mean? So if you're just saying, bring whatever you have, if you're just, taking control and you just loving them and just saying that, you know what, it's not how much you pay me that is important, it's your happiness. It's for you guys to be happy. It's for you to be able to take care of my daughter. That's what is important. So find out this man can take care of your daughter. Instead of saying you have to pay me this because I raised this daughter, I pay for her school fees. So you have to pay me this much. Instead of doing that, just find out. First of all, pray about it. If you have this discernment that it is God's will, it is this man that God chosen for your daughter, it is this woman that God's chosen for your son, then do whatever you can to help them. Be a shepherd, a good shepherd that will give everything for his sheep. So let's ask our parent, be good shepherds and worried about, how our daughters are going to live, what we're going to do, how are they going to, survive. And if you can, help them. I said, if you have the money, pay for the wedding. If you have the money, give it to them, invest it for their children, invest it for them if you can afford it. Because it's not about you, it is about them and your grandchildren. So that's all we are saying here. I just wanted to bring this and address this because it is something that is serious. We don't see it, but it is serious. When you go out and talk to people, you know that is a big problem in our African community. And if you're watching me, you are not African. Oh, this is serious. This applies to our African community. Dowry is something that is important. It's a sacred thing that I like I said, I love it. It's something that we have to do. We have to go and ask for the girl's hand. You have to do that. It's something in our tradition. But we're just turning it into, we're commercializing it. We are turning it into something else that it shouldn't be. So if you're non-African, you don't have to worry about this. And you're not married to an African, you don't have to worry. Although I want you to marry an African. But anyway, if you're not worried about this, but it's good to know. Anyway, this is a good, information for you to know. If you're not, then you don't need to worry about this unless, again, you are involved with an African man or thinking about African men or have an eye for African men or African women, especially. If you're having an eye for African women, there's a dowry and you need to find out what that is. But that's what we are talking about. You need to talk to the girl. So young man, those of you that I talk to, young men, there's a lot of you out there. Just be a man. Being a man does not mean that you're just going to hide your financial situation. Being a man means stand up and speak to your soon-to-be mother and father-in-laws and let them know where you come from. Let them know what you have. Let them know what you can or cannot do. It is just let them know, I just can't afford it. I wouldn't even want you to say, oh, I'll pay you later, because it's not a transaction. You're not buying the girl. It is not cloth that you are buying. You're marrying their daughter. So I wouldn't even say, oh, I'll pay you later. I wouldn't even say that because that is going to be in your head. That is a stress already. So just tell them, this is how much I have. This is the girl that I pray for. God giving me your daughter. I can't afford this. And I pray that the mother and fathers, I'm sure they can understand that. So let's stand up for ourselves. And ladies, stand up for your man. If you know that this man loves you and you pray about it, this is the man for you. And your parent like, oh, he has to bring that $10,000. No way. I say no. Oh, it's going to be over my dead body. All of that. Stand up for your man. Speak for your men and let them know. Mom, Dad, this is the man that God gave me. God says yes. Who are you to say no? I'm just saying. Because sometimes we have to stand up. We have to tell our parents the truth. It is the truth. If God gave me this man, who are you to say no? So God gave me this man. So all I want you to support me because my life is more important. You got your wedding. It's over. We have to be honest with our parents. Not don't be rude because we know we are raised better than that, right? But you have to tell them. Sometimes you have to tell your parents the truth. And when you speak up for them, they will listen. I pray they will listen. Make them understand that it's about you and you need their support. So parents, if you can, pay. If you can, help them. If you can, do whatever. So that's my message for all of us who are watching, whatever your situation. But those of you who don't believe in it completely, I am saying this is tradition. It started in the Bible. Abraham did it for Isaac. He gave a gift. Those of you who are saying that it's not Christian-like, I showed you in the Bible. Abraham did it. There's nothing wrong with it. And those of you who are saying because the father says no, screw him. It says the father has a right to say no and to say yes, but there may be a reason. If he says yes, that's good. If he says no, pray about it. Pray. If God gave you that girl, no matter what the father said, he's going to change his mind. God will make him change his mind. So pray. So everything from the parents, from us parents, from young ladies and young men, what I'm going to recommend, what is more important than anything is to pray. Put everything in your prayer. I did this in chatting on Nicole, and I said, even before you start, you get a phone number, start praying about this. Like we were saying before, is this person really a real person? Start praying about it. Lord, I got this phone number. If it is your will, give me a discernment. If it's not your will, erase that phone number. I don't want him to call me. And do not go borrow money for a wedding. That is something that it's just a no, no, no. Do not borrow money for a wedding, because when you borrow money, you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for the guests. They're going to come and drink and eat and dance and leave. When they leave, you have to pay that bill. You have to pay. You are the one who's paying. So do not borrow money for a wedding. That is a no, no. Don't ever do that. If you can afford it, do not borrow money. If you save money, I know my friend, her daughter, they saved their money and did the wedding. They didn't have to go borrow any money. You see, that's different. So you save money to do that. But if you don't have money, do not go borrow. Just do what you can afford. I promise you, you'll be happy after that. You'll be happy to know that after your wedding, you don't have to pay anybody. Even when you borrow money, when people are dancing and drinking, you are there sitting like, you're already thinking about this wedding, this bill you're going to pay, this money you borrow. You're sitting there, instead of be happy, you are thinking about that $10,000 after these people leave. How are you going to pay? I promise you. So do not go and borrow money for a wedding. Do not go and borrow money for something that is just enjoyment. And borrow money if you have to for an investment, for your wedding, for your future, for your children. That's what you do. So I am encouraging you. Those of you who are planning a wedding right now, Abla used to be a wedding planner. She said she would tell you the same thing. Do not go borrow money for a wedding. Don't do it. It's just a no-no. So that is my advice for you all today. And I pray that this, you're going to share this. You're going to let everybody know. You're going to come back to me. Let me know what you think. Let me know you agree or disagree. I hope that you're going to do that. But we're going to end it here. And I want you guys to just, share with everyone you know. It's important. We are here learning from one another. And I cannot just not share this information with you when I know it. And I know it's hurting our culture. It's hurting our young people. I will not be a good reporter or a good host if I don't bring this to you. So, accept this. Stay open-minded and think about it. Think about your children and talk about everybody else. Share with everyone that you know. So I thank you for joining us today. I thank you for joining us. It's going to be, again, I want you to come back again Sunday. We don't know what we're going to be discussing Sunday, but I want you to be here. We may have Tugby. Tugby is going to be here with me next Sunday. If you have an expert, if we have this attorney about immigration, we'll bring her in. We may do it off. It may not be on Sunday, but whenever I have the information that I feel that is important for you to know, we'll come back and let you know. But I just want you, what I'm asking from you is to share. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Sienna TV. Subscribe to Chatting with Nicole. And stay tuned. There are other videos out there I want you to check out. I already told I'm blena mi be mi la do anglais be vo am dak be na mi ne mi le kame and dak be na mi be mi no kame kudomi dimanche prochain mi adogo dimanche prochain 16h ou bien 21h GMT vo an dak be na mi yo ho ane no kudomi yo ho antone Tona mi ba odoso mianti ne nu si anu ba mi ase nu ogome nu komi bla mi ase gome nyere. I pray that the Lord will guide us all. I pray that He will give us the discernment, so that we can understand and do better and care more about our children than ourselves. Be a better, shepherds going forward. So until then, I'll see you guys on Sunday afternoon. Let me see. I just get. Okay. Somebody send a message here. Let's see what he said. What about if you are gifted the money?
The groom or the? I'm assuming he means like if the man is given the money.
If you are gifted means what? I think he's talking about if the money was given to you to use.
Yeah.
Winston, a couple. If you're, let us know what you mean. If the money is coming from, if I give you money now, I have money and you are struggling to pay your dowry, and I give you the money to pay, there's no problem with that, right? So I don't see where there is a problem. It's a gift you're giving me. But I think that's what you are asking. But just don't borrow. Don't say borrow me 5,000 for me to pay my bride price. No, don't ask for a loan. Don't ask to borrow money. Don't ask for somebody to help you. If that person gives it to you free, then that's fine. That person gives it to you free. You don't have to pay them. That's fine. Somebody takes care of your wedding. Say, oh, I want those friends. Somebody's friend, he said, I'm going to pay. Then that's fine. But just don't borrow it. If it's a gift, Winston, if it's a gift, then yes.
Yeah. If it's a gift, I would say, hopefully the gift is not the full amount. Like he can just take some of it and use it.
For the,
because there's not going to be more of that where that comes from. That's my only concern about that gift. It's like there's not more of that from where that comes from.
Oh, it's if either party, I always love to hear from you guys. That's why we extended this to read what you are saying. If either party is gifted the money, that's what we said. If
it's a woman, I would not give. I still wouldn't, because she's still paying for her she's still marrying herself, because if she's gifted the money.
Oh, he said
he
wants
him.
you to respond to his question.
You will not get my response in Elway, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I think she started off the show saying we're going to be speaking in English.
Already? No, you can, if you want to, you can give him if you can, but
I can't, so he won't get it. So
you won't be able to get it. So if you want, Abla said no, she can't. Unfortunately, she can't.
Unfortunately, you won't get a response in Elway. I'm very sorry.
You won't get it in English, but it is if you have the money. If anybody out there is listening, want to hear, want to understand, if you have the money, if they give it to you free, if it's gifted, you can do whatever. And that you don't even spend don't spend it on the wedding. Don't spend it on the dowry, the bride price. Use it for yourself. Put it in a bank. Save it for, what is it? What do we call?
A rainy day.
A rainy day for you. Don't use it for your wedding, because when you are spending all this money, it's other people who are enjoying it. Imagine when you go to wedding, who have more fun? Real weddings.
It's the guests, it's not the couple.
Not the fake one that people do just to show up for social media. The real one is everybody else who has fun. When I went to all those weddings that I went in, and Ashley, Ashley MCs and do all of that, it's the groom and bride are always like so tired, just want to get up, just want to move. Everybody else don't care. They're drinking, they're dancing, they're doing everything. When you spend your money, you borrow money and doing weddings, it is not you who's enjoying it. It's everybody else. For what? And because you don't want them to say bad things about you. You want your wedding to be better than your sister, your best friend. It's not what that matters. Is what that matters. So that's what we are saying. Wisdom Akapo, I appreciate you for your message. Sorry that Abla could not give you a way answer, but next time I'm sure.
No, he said he wanted the answer in Elway. I gave him the anscer, just not in Elway.
You got the answer.
At least I hope that I answered. I think I answered right.
He just want to hear you speak Elway. So that's
no, you won't hear that.
You won't hear Abla speaking Elway,
especially not on live television or live internet. You won't hear me speaking Elway on the internet. I would never do that.
But anyway,
and that doesn't mean I'm not proud. It's just if you were around from the beginning of the show, you'll understand. So go back and watch the beginning. I want to make sure your views go up. So I don't want anyone to stay here and stop. I want if anyone's joining, they should go back and watch.
Okay. All right. So he's okay. He's not mad. So we got it. Okay. All right. We're glad that you are not mad. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your comment. But even if you watch this later, you have comments. I'm gonna be watching the comments. Let us know if there's anything else we want to touch. We can get back in touch. But this is the learning. Afri culture is for us to learn from one another. We are here abroad, and there are certain things that we don't know. Certain things are escaping us. So we are doing this just to bring awareness to what our culture and the suffering, this frustration, everything that is, so that we are aware. We are not telling anybody what to do, but it's just awareness to bring, our things back to, we want our culture to be alive. We want to know, we want this to keep happening, especially our young people. So I pray that your young people are watching. I know a lot of people are going through other meetings today, but I'm sure that they're going to watch this later. So we want to say thank you for watching us again. We pray that this message that we put out there, God is going to use it. This will help somebody. So until then, ladies, thank you again for joining. We have to come back because of wisdom. I think his last name might be Wisdom. Akakpo, I don't know if Akakpo is Akakpo. I think it's Togolese. He has to be Togolese. There's
Nigerians with that last name too, though.
What? No, Akakpo. I think Akakpo is. I don't
know.
I've
met a Nigerian with Akakpo as the last name. Is what I'm saying. Like it's.
Oh, really?
I believe they're a Togo, but I mean, I think it's also it can be found in Nigeria.
We are here figuring out where you are from. You can just tell us.
Oh yeah, tell us Wisdom, since if he's still on. He's laughing. He's still laughing with us.
So if you're still on, we just want to know because I've seen it before on my channel. I just don't know he's for me.
But I feel like because of the wisdom, I feel like he got to be at least an LA, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's why he want to hear it from LA. Otherwise,
yeah, because he said So you got to be.
You can respond back to us later. Our Abla will see it if you're not on the call. We just want to know he's from Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a couple in Ghana. Okay, well, we're gonna talk about next time. Wisdom, come back next time. We want to know what part of.
Are we talking about names next time?
He said Aplau. Okay, he said Aplau.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, nice to meet you. At least we have an interaction with you. We have interaction with you on the call. So thank you. So welcome. I see you most of the time on my channel. So I thank you very much for supporting me. Thank you for following me. I appreciate you.
Come back next week.
Come back next week. Yeah, come back.
Bring some friends.
There you go.
Share the live.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies. Mercy. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Abla, whatever you have planned, have a great rest of your afternoon. I'll reach out to you when something comes, and I'll wait to hear back from you as well. But until then, bye-bye, everybody. Have a great one. Stay safe and blessed, and we'll see you on the next one.